be right here,
Okay,
Dean.
no problem.
Jerry, you're not going to sit in for him tonight?
No, you guys do well. I'm sitting back. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
All right, we're getting there.
Good.
I don't know where he went.
Hi, Chief.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. Took the night off. You're at the ball game?
Wishing I was there for sure.
Unfortunately, that's how the stands are going to look from now on.
Yes, I am excited though. They will at least air some of the ball games starting
Mhm.
this.
Yes.
Hey, look who I see.
Good evening.
Lady.
Funny how that works, huh? Long time no see.
That's right.
Sienna, is Aaron going to run the meeting tonight?
Yes, ma'am. He got off easy.
Yeah. Basic agenda, nothing on it hardly.
And he doesn't know this yet, but I talked to Cameron, and he's actually going to accept the Parks Proclamation on behalf of Cameron. Just a little FYI there.
Aaron is?
Yes, Aaron's going to accept the Parks Proclamation on Cameron's behalf. So Cameron's not going to call into the meeting. And we are going to be on Access Humboldt, just so you know. There was a question about whether they'd have power, and they do indeed have power. So we're good to go, and we're up and running here.
Okay.
Is Robin on here yet?
Not yet. I don't see her.
I'm taking a deep breath because I just finished her story.
Woo!
I hope I captured it. I hope I did. I don't know. Maybe. It is what it is now.
I'm sure you did a great job.
Yeah, well.
And I'm not just saying that.
Of course you are.
Stop.
Who are we missing? Mike and Jeremy.
Yep. I texted the links, so there's no reason they shouldn't be able to get on.
Today has been a Monday, let me tell you. Anybody else feeling that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mayor.
Whew, yeah. So I'm switching my hat to city council. I'm deep breathing. At least our agenda's easy. Nothing to it hardly. So if we can just keep Dean from chattering half the night, we should be good.
Dean?
That's keep it muted, Dean.
Hello? Yeah.
Keep it muted.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I just got a phone call that everything we are saying can be heard on YouTube already.
Oh, can you, on Access Humboldt?
Apparently.
Cole, can you mute that? Excuse me, one moment. like Access Humboldt has the volume down, so I'm not sure what is going on. We're kind of checking on it right now.
Okay.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay?
Hi, Aaron.
Yes.
Loud and clear, Aaron.
Very
Aaron's
good.
manager.
Yeah, one more week.
It's totally fine. Yeah, thank you. It was just a very short space in time that was picking up. And it's
Okay.
not at the moment. Aaron, I was joking that you got off easy with this agenda.
Yeah, you're right. It was mostly all my items, all the assessment district stuff.
Right.
I should have came up with a whole bunch of stuff to add just for you.
Yeah.
It was funny, each one of those assessment districts is a staff report. So when we started putting the packet together, the files seemed really small. And I was like, this is fantastic. And then I think on Thursday, I went to lunch and I came back and opened the file and was like, what? And I just forgot that they were individual staff reports. What is all this?
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm trying to find, there's so much stuff until the assessment districts. Anybody have a page number? Here we go. Do we have to do a separate? Oh, it's on the consent calendar. Okay. Yay. Okay.
We have arrived.
Hi.
Hello, Michael.
Hello. So how you like the chili cook-off so far?
Oh, stop it.
Deanna won.
Yeah.
We
Right.
I ran into Leonard Whitchurch the other day and he was all, that was going to be mine. And I was like, buddy. That I had my sights set on it this year.
Well, you know what? Just keep Millie and get ready because next year the world is going to see the Emmons clan land on it.
Got to get my name on that trophy again.
You got to have Emberly in the picture too.
That's right.
She needs her own little apron, her own little stir spoon.
She absolutely will have that. My, my Shutterfly feed brings up like a year ago today, and it was her little, a year ago with her, the big State Farm cowboy, the foam cowboy hat on.
Awesome.
It was cute.
Who wants to say the flag salute tonight?
I'll do it. Or the chief can do it.
I can do it whenever you're ready.
We will let you know when we are ready. Thank you very much.
Ma'am.
Sienna, no one sent in any public comment yet, right?
Nope, I have no public comment.
Do you think we need to pause every time or just say we'll take public comment if someone calls in, you'll get our attention and we'll just keep moving through it?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. The difference is that we're going to be on TV tonight, and I do have number. So if somebody happened to see that screen while it was up on the TV, they could log that call-in number and access the meeting that way. So maybe for the first public comment, let's go ahead and share that screen so people could grab that information. And then as we move forward, you can refer to the Zoom link that was provided.
Okay. It's just such a long pause of dead silence that it just
I know.
No one calls us, and if they do, we'll take their comment time.
And it's funky too because the people at home aren't seeing it in real time. So even if they were to call in, it could be presumably a minute later or after we've moved on. So I know it's kind of clunky.
Yeah. So if somebody calls, just give me some kind of signal. Definitely hear what they have to say.
Okay. Looks like we have Lieutenant on.
Did Robin confirm that she was going to be on?
She did confirm that she was available.
Okay. Diana just checked in.
Yep, Diana's on.
But I don't see Robin.
Matt, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you talked to Robin at all? My understanding was she received this link, but I don't see her on here, and we got about a minute.
I have not talked to her yet. Do you want me to give her a quick call?
That would be fantastic.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself. Call her.
Yep.
Heck, this is more people than we have at a regular council meeting.
It's like, what is going on?
Right? That's 14 people on here. Woohoo! I mean, granted, some of them are staff, but
Right.
still.
Most of them are staff.
Hey, don't be bursting my bubble.
Okay, sorry. It's a big meeting.
Yeah, they're getting points for being on here because they know it's going to be quick.
Right.
I think you're going to have a hard time breaking 12-minute record.
We could do it if you didn't talk.
I mean, I get to I get to go first and last, and nobody else talks from the council comments. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, it is 6 o'clock. If Robin doesn't check in, we'll skip that part and come back to it.
Okay.
So we'll call our meeting to order.
She's joining now.
Perfect. We'll call our meeting to order. Chief Day, if you would lead us in the flag salute, please.
Yes, sir. Ready, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under God, indivisible,
Okay.
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I see the chief. So I don't see the mute though. I see a.
Okay. Roll call, please, Yana.
Councilmember Glauser.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent.
Here.
Mayor Long.
Here. Thank you, Sienna. Welcome, Robin. We have a couple of things for you tonight for all of your years, and I just messed up my screen. Hold on a sec. So we have a certificate of recognition, which we'll get to you. This says the City Council of the City of Fortuna awards this certificate to Robin Paul. The city would like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude for your 23 years of dedicated service. Your contribution to the City of Fortuna will be remembered for many years to come. We wish you good health, happiness, and continued success in your retirement. Signed, 20th day of July, Fortuna Mayor's too long. After the city of Fortuna for 23 years, Robin is retiring, not without a few tears. A dedicated and loyal employee from day one, she knows how to organize and get things done. She started as a dispatcher and wore many hats. She was a master at keeping evidence and stats. She was most often in a supervisory role, including dispatch, evidence, office, and CSO. There's not much she doesn't know about, and she never seemed to throw anything out. If someone needed information from years ago, there's a good chance she just might know. There didn't seem to be anything she couldn't do. She's never afraid to try something new. A new truck was needed for animal control. Getting money became her goal. She worked tirelessly to complete the grant because her vocabulary doesn't include "I can't." She was successful and a vehicle was bought. Just one more way she gave without a thought. She is dependable, loyal, and a great friend. Her caring heart and voice of reason are a perfect blend. She can be firm but compassionate too. She's direct and will tell you what you should do. When encountering angry customers at the window, she politely tells them just how it's going to go. She would kindly explain the process and remain firm. She wouldn't lose her temper or even squirm. Dealing with recipients of parking tickets was tough. They never seemed to deserve them, strangely enough. Sending reports out without errors and typos is one thing that just can't be let go. She proofread and had the corrections made. Office may complain, but she wouldn't be swayed. Supervisors often take a lot of grief, but keeping a sense of humor can provide relief. Conspiring with Matt one Halloween, as punching bags, they created quite a scene. She loves animals and always goes the extra mile to capture and rescue them safely, all with a smile. She's helped with dogs and even a goat or two. She always seems to know just what to do. I was just returning from vacation one day when I discovered my little Yorkie had ran away. I called PD to see if she was there. She was not, and I was filled with despair. My Dixie stayed out all night long in the dark. Then PD got a call that a little dog was seen at the park. Robin immediately responded to the location, but Dixie was terrified and began to run. She was finally cornered, and Robin stood guard till I could get there and rescue her from the yard. She would even clean kennels on her days off. On her off days, she demonstrated compassion in so many ways. In 2018, she received the coveted Kiwanis Award. Her community service just couldn't be ignored. A member of Seroptimus for many years is another example she set for her peers. She's also the event and hospitality queen, providing refreshments and delicious cuisine. Seems like there was blue frosting at every event that would leave tongues and lips a bluish tint. Her colorful earrings and pins always catch your eye, always so coordinated without seeming to try. She'll also be remembered for the red hair with a streak, the white gray in front with her special little tweak. Vacationing with her grands, Cody, Katie, and JD, with her toes in the sand by the deep blue sea. Traveling and cruising is high on her list, and spending time with family is hard to resist. With her family outside of work, she's busy as well, making jams, cinnamon, sauces, and more to sell. The infamous apple dumplings are a special treat, just the right blend that can't be beat. If this pandemic stretches to October and beyond, you can bet for special orders she will be conned. Robin, as you enjoy non-work filled days, I wish you joy and happiness in this next phase. I hope you plan, many new adventures to see lots of new places before you need new adventures to see lots. So congratulations, Robin. We'll have all of this stuff for you at City Hall to pick up. Convenience. So congratulations, Robin. We'll have all of this stuff for you at City Hall to pick up.
Robin, can you mute your television in the background? Please. Then if you have something to say, you can say it now.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to thank the mayor and city council members for allowing me to work for the city of Fortuna. it was a great joy and pleasure to work in my own community. And I worked with lots of wonderful people, saw lots of young men come and go and move on in their careers. I worked with a few chiefs, and it was always a pleasure. So I want to thank you for allowing me to pursue my career at the city of Fortuna, and you'll see me out and about. Please smile and wave, and I'll do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Does anybody else have any words they want to share with Robin before she is gone from our department? I guess you already are gone. But anyway, anybody else want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'd love to, Sue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our knowing each other goes back to 1998 when I joined the Scope program, and that was involved with you for 9.5 years, and some interesting escapades that the Scope participated in, especially trying to capture, in one instance, trying to capture a pit bull that led us all through town, probably the trail and the attempt to get it for probably 5 miles back and forth, and eventually got caught. But your obligation and duties really transitioned from when you first got employed to eventually being the person who received the necessary obligation to continue to guide the Scope program, and that was a great deal of responsibility on your part. So I have to thank you for making the Scope program, when it really was at the peak of success, for being a success. And yeah, for your personality, it definitely was organized. You were capable of having a direction for just about anybody in the office, for the community service people. And as was mentioned by Sue, you were extremely knowledgeable, knowing exactly what was going on. You never had, well, I don't know. You already knew it, and that was a wonderful asset to be able to draw on. So I hope you and Ed have a wonderful time retiring. And oh, by the way, there's lots of openings on the Scope program, Senior Citizens on Patrol, and they would love to have you on there. Anyway, bless you, Robin.
Thank you.
Robin, Chief Day here. I miss you already. I just say thank you for being there for me in my first 2 weeks, and enjoy that retirement.
I sure will. Thank you.
And Robin, well, I was never a part of PD. I always seemed to end up working with PD, and you were able to kind of guide me through some things there, and your work ethic of being down at the kennel to help take care of that place when they didn't have a kennel attendant was remarkable. And I hope to see you at the apple harvest and to still get some apple dumplings maybe not this year, but next year. So
For
enjoy
sure.
your retirement.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to say, Robin, you know I miss you, and wish you the best. And I'm still going to bug you lots.
I still have my phone, so give me a call.
Anyone else before we?
Can I say something? Diana Rios, Fortuna Business Improvement District. I wanted to say, Robin, you've been just so patient over the years with the seniors, citizens on patrol. And my dad was one of them for many years. And we hold you with the utmost respect. And we just really appreciate all that you have given to our police department and the senior citizens that have volunteered on that. So on behalf of the Rios family, we love you and we look forward to seeing you at our community events.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Congratulations, Robin. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is the Parks Make Life Better proclamation, and Jeremy, as our Parks and Rec Council representative, is going to read that proclamation for us.
All right. In recognition and support of Parks Make Life Better July 2020, whereas Park and Recreation makes lives and communities better now and in the future, and whereas residents value recreation as it provides positive alternatives for children and youth to reduce crime and mischief, it promotes the arts, it increases social connections, aids in therapy, and promotes lifelong learning. And whereas residents value their park for access to outdoor spaces for children and adults to play and be active, exercise and work and group sports. And whereas parks provide access to the serenity and the inspiration of nature and outdoor spaces, as well as preserve and protect the historic, natural, and cultural resources in our community. And whereas the residents of Fortuna, including children, youth, families, adults, seniors, businesses, community organizations, and visitors benefit from the wide range of programs throughout the parks and recreation facilities provided by the Fortuna Parks and Recreation Department. And whereas the Fortuna Parks and Recreation Department urges all its residents to recognize that parks and recreation enriches the lives of its residents and visitors, as well as adding value to the community's homes and neighborhoods. And whereas July is celebrated across the nation as Parks and Recreation Month. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the City of Fortuna hereby proclaims July 2020 as Parks Make Life Better Month, and in doing so urges all its citizens to use and enjoy its parks, trails, open space facilities, and recreation opportunities. Signed this 20th day of July 2020.
Thank you, Jeremy. I think Aaron was going to accept that on behalf of Cameron tonight.
Yes, thank you. I know Cameron Mole, our Parks and Rec director, he has a great team working for him, and they do a great job at the parks, and we all get out there and enjoy them. So we appreciate this.
All right, thank you. Moving on to oral comments from the public. You're going to see the information to join our Zoom meeting on your screen. If you would like to make any comments to the council, please follow the instructions, and we'll give you a few seconds to do that. If you miss it right now, please write down that information, log in. We'll take public comment. If somebody calls, Sienna will just give me a little signal, and we'll be glad to listen to what you have to say to us.
Something.
Something. To something or somethings in plural.
There's something in the air.
Yeah. Bugs.
And it's not this Fortuna City Council meeting.
Sue, it was F, and what was the other one?
I.
Yeah.
Sienna, Renee says it's back on.
Sienna, did you hear Diana?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I apologize for that. It was a little bit out of my control. I did hear you. We needed to amend the motion to include number 11. So
Yes.
1 through 11, but excluding F like Frank and I like Igloo on number 10.
Yes.
And did we get a second for that amended motion?
Yes.
Jeremy.
Okay, Councilmember Glauser,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent,
Yeah.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Okay, so now we need a motion to approve items 10, F, and I.
I make a motion we approve items 10, F, and I.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Sienna?
Councilmember Glauser,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent,
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Abstain.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to city council business. Our first item is designation of the city's voting delegate to the League of California Cities annual meeting, which will be in October, and it will be a virtual conference this year, apparently. Aaron, did you have a report, or is it really pretty self-explanatory?
Yeah, you can see Merritt wrote the staff report before he left, and this was when it was still going to be in person. But as you have said, it's going to move to an online virtual conference, and we're still waiting to hear about the specifics on the voting. But we decided to go ahead and keep this agenda item on here and have you guys still choose who you want to be the voting delegate, and we'll give an update to the council on how exactly that's going to work once we get that info.
Okay. So if anyone from the public wanted to comment or call in, now would be the time. We will close.
Mary, I can see we have a caller. Calling in from 599-928.
Did someone call in?
Okay, I'll mute that member. Sorry.
You're all echoey, Sienna. We couldn't understand a word you said. Okay, so does anyone want to nominate someone to be the voting delegate and 2 alternates?
Well, I nominate Mayor Long and Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Long is the voting delegate, and Mayor Pro Tem Trent as the alternate.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Sienna?
Councilmember Glauser,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent,
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. All right, thank you. Our next item is to authorize the city manager to sign and enter into a professional services contract, a Building Homes and Jobs Act SB2 planning grant. Staff report, please.
Yeah, honorable mayor and council members, thank you. We're really happy to be bringing this to you tonight. These projects have been discussed and prioritized at council workshops, and we're finally able to carry them forward and create projects with the additional resources that the grant brings to the city. So in July of 2019, the council authorized staff to submit the SB2 grant to HCD in the amount of $160,000. And the purpose of the SB2 grant is to facilitate housing by improving processes, updating codes, and implementing other activities that facilitate housing. The grant was awarded to HCD or by HCD on in February earlier this year. The planning activities in the city's SB2 grant include 7 projects: updating the city's improvement standards and specifications, adopting by right or principally permitted multifamily zoning standards, updating accessory dwelling unit standards, infrastructure provision and financing opportunities and analysis, an employee housing code, GIS layers update, and design review guidelines. So some of those have really, been at the top of the priority list, and they're all important, and they're all components identified in the housing element and approved by HCD. So, that represents a lot of planning work and planning production and a lot of output. Really the equivalent of extra staff. So, that's going to be starting in August of this year and going for about 2 years. They just extended the deadline actually by about another year, I think. So it's going to be a 2 to 3 year process. And all of these process updates will streamline development review and make housing development easier and more affordable. So that's really the benefits to the city, and all through HCD funding with no impact on the general fund. So as far as the RFP, the proposal process, the city received proposals from 4 consultants, and those were evaluated by a 4-person panel, including city's planning and engineering staff. All of the proposals were well prepared, and all of the firms are very qualified and would have done a good job. The consultants selected by staff, Plan West Partners, had the highest score from each of the panelists. And their proposal just showed the greatest level of project understanding and readiness to carry out each of the projects. And really it was a forward-looking and creative proposal. It really had details on how each project would be carried out in a manner that really responds to the public and through workshops and meetings. And they also really demonstrated their experience in carrying out these kinds of projects. And a bonus is that a local firm, Onaveros and Associates, will be a part of the team member. So some of that, financial amount would directly support the local community and stay in the community. So you have a copy of the scope of services and an itemized fee schedule. That's included in your staff report. And so we recommend that the council authorize the proposal and authorize the city manager to sign and enter into a professional agreement. And I believe we do have a Plan West team member here, Rob Holman. He's, if you have any specific questions about anything in the proposal itself. So I'll hand that back to the mayor and the council.
Does anyone from the council have any questions for Liz?
No.
Liz, why will it take 2 to 3 years?
I mean, there are seven projects, and I'm not saying that it will take 2 years. The proposal itself goes through 2002 or 2022, and they just extended it by a year. So, you know, some of the projects that HCD is funding include specific projects that, you know, specific plans that take, you know, more detailed long-term planning and then environmental documentation. So they've given it a lot of time. And then, you know, with some of the projects that are on our list, maybe the design review guidelines, the accessory dwelling unit project, you know, there's going to be more significant public input and probably some revisions. So, so they'll be staggered. Each of the projects will be staggered. You know, they won't be, we're not going to go right out and do start seven all at once. I think that would kind of overwhelm the public, overwhelm the planning commission. So they'll be staggered over the course of that time.
So we'll be approving updates and new ordinances and zoning and all that kind of stuff one at a time? Like we'll finish one section and then move on to another section?
I think they'll be staggered somewhat. Initially, the initial tasks are going to be to study, to take a look at the city's infrastructure. And, you know, that's going to carry through all of the projects. Update the GIS so we can utilize the GIS information in the rest of the, you know, mapping of different things that are going to support the projects. Rob, did you want to weigh in at all? Are you there? I just see phone numbers. Not sure if Rob is with us. Apparently not. Okay, that's fine.
Have a question?
He is. Rob's here. Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Hello?
There you go.
Hi, this is Rob Homeland.
Hi, Rob.
Did you hear, were you there? Did you hear the questions?
I was here, yeah. So as far as project schedule goes, we have the schedule going through December of 2021 with a public meeting in January of 2022. So that's only about 17 months, not 2 full years. And as far as the adoption of ordinances goes, we're actually packaging them up as bundles. And so the majority of them will all go together. I found from my time at the city of Eureka that it's a lot easier to bundle things as a group of ordinances when they reference each other and influence one another. So when you make an ordinance change regarding, say, accessory dwelling units or mother-in-law units, you have to go through the whole code and modify multiple parts of the code that cross-reference each other. So it's easier and more efficient and easier for the public to understand when you bundle things together that just inherently and naturally go together. Does that answer your question?
It does. It's ADUs are such a hot topic right now. I was really hoping not to wait until 2021 to be able to move forward with that.
Sure. We can early in the project sit down and look at the schedule together and see if there's ways to accelerate it. What I would say is that if you want a lot of public involvement as the request for proposals requested, then the public involvement certainly slows things down. But also state law requires a lot of public hearing prior to changing ordinances, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So it's difficult for any ordinance to be changed in faster than a 3-month period. You have to go to the planning commission, all the public hearing notices, then go to council twice. So we're certainly happy to look at the schedule and see if there's ways to accelerate.
Anybody else have any comments or questions or thoughts?
I had a question. We've already done quite a lot of work on the design review guidelines. So are we starting that process from the beginning again, or will we continue from where we were at?
If you're directing that question to me, I would follow staff's lead on that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, we can use that as a foundation. So you have the council and the planning commission have done a lot of work, and I think you've made, you know, really something that's really worthwhile and usable, and it's something that everybody's familiar with. So that would definitely be used as a foundation to build off of. And I think Rob, as reflected in the proposal, has some, you know, like presentation options as far as using some of a basis of standards that developers can choose from, and maybe even in some cases avoid, you know, just streamline the process. So, you know, we can use what you guys have done as a foundation for that, for streamlining. And maybe, you know, Rob has a lot of experience in Eureka for exactly that kind of thing. So it'll be good to get some additional input on how the city can use that, what you've done, and streamline it.
Will the whole project, will that be prioritized on which parts of that project we're going to work on first? Or is it going to be the whole thing worked on together?
Liz, do you want me to answer that one?
Yeah, would you?
Sure. Yeah, so it's mostly being all worked on together. So we've got, per the request for proposals, the establishment of a stakeholder committee, which I recommend consists of your, at least to some degree, your frequent flyers. So the people that build the most housing or come into City Hall the most frequently to get permits, those that have both the most direct experience working through the city system, and therefore they'll have the knowledge of what could be streamlined and what slows them down, and you know what seems unnecessarily bureaucratic and burdensome, as well as having the highest probability of developing more in the future. And so their opinion certainly matters in that way. And then also recommending having some other people on the stakeholder committee, such as architects, engineers, people that are involved early in the timeline of a development project. And so based on that feedback, it'll influence the sequencing. But what I recommend is all of it going together as a comprehensive unit. So you're looking at multifamily, accessory dwelling units, infrastructure, and financing, employee housing, design review, and the early part of the project, we really wanted to focus on infrastructure, GIS, and the improvement standards.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, we can open it up for public comment. I don't think anyone's joining us tonight. We must have bored them last time. All right, so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion for the city manager to sign and enter into professional service contract to planning activities to Plan West for the amount of $160,000.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Sienna?
Councilmember Glauser?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent?
Yes.
Mayor Long?
Yes. Okay, moving on to city manager's report. Do you have anything to share with us, Aaron?
I'll just say that the police chief and I, we issued a press release to allow businesses, the city would waive the encroachment fee, and they could set up some chairs and tables on the sidewalks, and we have received 3 applications for that so far. I also like to thank Buffy, Liz, and Brendan. We all kind of met, and we were able to expedite that process, which can sometimes take days, and we got it down to getting those approved that same day. So that was something small that we can do for our businesses, but we're trying to do everything we can to help those businesses out right now. I also got an email today from Diana, and she may have already shared this, but FBIT is getting some pallets for PPE equipment for Fortuna business owners, so that they can hopefully save some money because they don't have to pay for certain PPE items. So that is another thing that is helping our local businesses. And then the final thing I'll say is that your city manager will be back on Monday the 27th.
And I take it you're looking forward to that.
Did you see that?
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Future agenda items, anyone?
No.
Alrighty, city council report, Dean.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Saturday, 1 o'clock, all of a sudden there was a rodeo parade. How did that happen? It almost seemed like it was another flag act to the beginning of appear out of nowhere fireworks for 4th of July, many decades ago. So that was nice to be able to see that. Somebody recorded it. If somebody has the full parade recorded, I'd like to be able to see that, because I only got a portion of it. But that was great. That was symbolic. So you could actually say that we didn't go without. Ferndale did the same thing for Memorial Day. They did a token parade through town, even though technically it was closed. But you got to follow with tradition. I had a couple of neighbors call me concerning an issue of abuse on a trail that it's on property. It's an easement, but the landowner, out of a gracious gesture, was allowing a pathway to be used for people walking from Nelson onto Sunset Court. And it has become an issue with the people living in Sunset Court, that there are individuals in the community that do not have any regard for the allowance of that pathway to be appreciated and not to be vandalized. The city staff was made aware of people driving quads and actually small cars down that pathway in violation, you might as well say, of this gracious allowance of people to walk on foot. So this is going to be an issue that I guess you could probably say the worst case scenario, the landowner has the right to close the pathway completely off. So if the people that are abusing this continue to do so, you're going to lose something that other people may have been benefiting from, and they're not even contributing to the vandalism of it. So I want to see in contact with Public Works and you, Chief Day, to see what kind of follow-up we do. And I've got an idea of how to resolve the removal of rocks. We'll just go above and beyond and create something heavier. But that's my idea. Other than that, God bless America, God bless our troops. For all of you that are walking around with face masks, that's your choice. And for other people that are trying to do their distancing and staying at home, that's your personal choice as well. Just hope that we can get past this, at least have level 2, which is not too restrictive, remain as level 2. I just wish everybody in Fortuna to stay well, to stay healthy. Hope that the schools open up so that the parents that have been held hostage for 6 months can actually have some freedom, and their children can actually talk to somebody in person rather than visual. So there's a lot of what ifs. So just wish everybody good feelings and be well. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dean. Mike?
Well, this has been a slow time for me. It seems like the HCOG meeting was canceled. There's no historical commission meeting yet. The League of California Cities Policy Committee hasn't had their next meeting, and probably will be a virtual meeting with the annual convention. So, and there's no chili cook-off today, although I'm glad we had our processional parade for the rodeo. And it just seems quiet and strange, but I guess I should just enjoy it as it is. And I just hope everyone stays safe. And I know we had, I think it was 8 more cases reported today. And hopefully this thing settles down and we can all enjoy life again. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jeremy.
Thank you, Mike. Jeremy?
With Fortuna's Business Improvement District, Aaron already mentioned it, but just wanted to go in a little bit more detail on that. Diana sent out that email saying that the personal protection equipment came from the state of California's governor's office of economic development, and she is going to use the Monday Club as kind of a distribution center. Businesses that need it can get masks and hand sanitizer at that location instead of having to go out and buy them or order it from Staples or something like that. She has it there at no charge. It did say that it's not really medical grade, but definitely it fits the needs of personal protection. So next week will be Tuesday and Wednesday will be the distribution of all the items. And just contact the Fortuna Business Improvement District if you are a business owner that needs some of those supplies. And then Park and Rec, I'm just going to hit a few highlights from the staff meeting or the staff report. They've been open since June 8th, back to the public, and they've been busy. They got the bleachers prepped and repainted at Conroy Field. They are in the preparation of installing 2 concrete cornhole sets at Newburgh Park. Concrete cornhole sets were donated by the Fortuna Sunrise Rotary, and we appreciate that. Those should be installed and done by mid-July. They took down 2 eucalyptus trees in Newburgh Park that were a hazard. Several street lights in Roner Park were burned out. They've been replaced by General Services Department. And they've been busy prepping the fields in Newburgh and Roner Park. And glad to say that the Depot Museum is scheduled or has reopened as of the 9th. And they'll be open for visitors Thursday through Sundays from 12 to 4:30. Other than that, I have no other items to report this time.
Thank you, Jeremy. Amy.
Okay, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the depot just close again? The museum?
Yeah, that was part of the governor's orders. We did have to close down the museum after we just reopened it. So we'll let the public know once it's reopened.
Yeah, I was sorry to hear that too. Well, I have a little bit of exciting news. The Welcome to Fortuna signs south of Kenmar on the freeway. We'll be getting 2 new signs from that. The Fortuna Chamber Tourist and Marketing Committee is replacing those two billboards. I've seen one of them. It's very nice. I haven't seen the other one. It's been ordered. Those are due to go up in the end of August is the first one and fall for the second one. So that's going to be a nice welcome to Fortuna also. Those signs that are there are pretty old and definitely need to be replaced. So that's going to be exciting to see that. And Then Aaron also reported on another one I was going to report on about the businesses, the restaurants in town. I was very sad to see them have to close down, but a lot of them have tents up now. And Renee from the chamber organized for the city to be able to loan our picnic tables to some of the businesses, and they've taken advantage of that. So that's good that we can actually help. The city of Fortuna and the chamber and the FBID are here to help our businesses any way we can to get through all of this. So I encourage everybody to still go out to the dining. This is the perfect time of year for outside dining. Our weather has been behaving and encouraging this. So we can pretend like we're in the big city and have outdoor dining now. So everybody go, please support all of our businesses. We all have to get through this and keep as many businesses in business as possible. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Tammy. It's been pretty quiet for me as well. We did have an executive special meeting for REDAC to approve some collateral on a loan. That went well. Most of us were at Robin's little retirement send-off, so it's always weird when you lose somebody that's been here for as long as she has. You lose so much history the minute they walk out that door. So just wishing her the best. And I may or may not have been involved in a little parade on Saturday. So that's it. We can do a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
One last turn. Sienna, do you need
Councilmember Gauzer,
I'm going to hold off until last. No, I agree. Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent,
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us, Diana.
Thank you.
Next month.